Hi. So here I am in Zipaquirá, Colombia. You can hear the cars going by. Why am I stopped on a road? I'll tell you why. Because in order to expand this road, they have men working during the day where big trucks are coming in, working on the road, which I think they could easily put up temporary fluorescent lights and have them work in the middle of the night, pay them double, and get this job done. But no, it adds about 1 hour minimum to a trip that should take me 1 hour. Okay, so this is going to be 1 hour here. Anyway, this is South America. This is what's called third world. This is, I think, when they say third world, they're saying this is what they've made. They've made this third world, and that they control it. And you know who the theys are? They're the Sixers, like Dr. Tom Cowan named. So what I wanted to talk about, though, is something that just occurred to me that is, I think, really cool. So in Spanish, I should actually be doing this video in Spanish because I'm in Colombia, but okay. This is called suero. And I really don't know the correct terminology because I'm a new raw milk person. I have made, I don't want to act like I'm always doing it, but I have made successfully my own cheese, cottage cheese. I have made goat cheese. I have made butter. And I have been using what I guess is called buttermilk, the leftovers, and then what that turns into, I'm not sure, might be called kefir, but whatever. It's something like this. And so, and yogurt. I've had yogurt. It's amazing, you guys. So, on this journey, I think it's been about a year or more now, experimenting with raw milk in 2 different temperatures. Okay, so I've been in Central Florida, which is flat, hot, and no air conditioning, and experimenting with it inside my fluoridated refrigerator and outside in the nature with cheesecloth on it, with metal on it, with wood on the top of it, open, with flies in it. Like, I've tried it all. I've been experimenting with everything. Nothing's killed me, nor my children. And what I've learned is that this is amazing. And the word, I'm just going to move my car up a little bit. Like, it's going to really make a difference. But maybe somebody's ass is hanging out in an intersection, which would really suck just because I didn't move, right? So, this, let me make sure I'm recording. Yeah. Okay, so the word for this in Spanish is suero. And the word for when you go in the hospital and the first thing they do to anybody who goes to the hospital is they inject them with something called suero, which is salt water or sodium chloride in water, which is processed salt in water. Okay. Either way, even if it's sodium chloride in water, I recognize it still gives people a boost, so that's good. And so I'm holding. It's hard to, but I'm gonna try to hold my judgment on the sodium chloride until I know more. But in any case, my point of making this video was to express how this suero, as I drink it right now, this is my lunch. It is really salty, and I didn't put any salt in it. So, let's talk about that. We have a cow that is outside, ideally, and I bought this milk in an area called La Calera, which is like 4 miles above Bogota, where there's still people with cows, and I know the guy for I've been buying milk there since 2023, so it's almost 2 years. And I've met the guy who brings him the milk from his 8 cows. That's the best I can do. And I know the grass is amazing there. And I'm 99% sure he does not inject them with anything. Maybe a vaccine, because the pressure is so freaking crazy here at at any of those animal feed stores, is this whole pressure like everywhere on earth to vaccinated, inject, all that fucking bullshit. So, and who knows if he gives her an extra feed, but I don't think so, but I don't know. Anyway, as they say, the perfection is enemy of the good, but I am going towards perfection. That's the thing. They presume that people go, well, okay, then I'm not just going to be staying with good. Nope, I'm not staying with good. Because I stayed with good a lot in my life, and I couldn't get pregnant until 41, and I vaccinated my children until 2020. I did a lot of stupid shit. So, and I thought that was good enough, and I know now that it's not, because it's harming people, especially children, and the future is fertility, and if there's no eyes to see the environment or the earth, then there's no reason to be fighting for the environment or the earth, because there's no eyes to see it, right? So I'm all about fertility. I'm in the cult of fertility, or I was thinking today, the cult of salt. So this is salty. So that cow eats grass, gets pregnant. There were fluids exchanged to get pregnant from a bowl, and all sperm is salty, I think, if we're going to go with my salt theory, which there's no such thing as ATP as being the generating gel making spark, but rather salt, and that's pure salt is what I maintain, and that's why my name is Victoria Salt, and the second T is for truth, and this channel is coherence, because this makes sense and it's coherent, right? So why would it be called sweatal this and also salt water? I think that's really interesting. So then it just occurred to me that, and if anybody's watching this, great, thank you so much for watching. And secondly, si hay alguien aquí de España, ¿recuerdas mi libreto? I brought this to Spain in 2023. So, is it possible? Ooh, we're moving. Let's see what's going on. Let me put on my glasses. Oh shit. Okay, this guy, what's he doing? He's turning around. Okay. Listo. So, the suero in Colombia is also differentiated by being, one is called suero costeño, okay, which means coastal suero, which, what a fucking oxymoron, if you get what I'm saying. If suero is really essentially what ends up being salt water, which cures us of everything, right, and is what our body's made of, then by calling it coastal suero, they're making a joke on us even more. Because here's the thing in Colombia. My father grew up on the coast, and that's what they say, like, oh, your father's from the coast. Yes, because he has a certain accent, and it's beyond the mountain ranges of Colombia, and it gets flat, so they call that the coast. But you can be 3 hours inland, and that's still called the coast, and it's a very similar culture. But it's different than the people on the ocean. But not that different, is what I've learned. The whole ocean lifestyle never really like picked up here, or they just absorbed people into this land concept of needing food. So here's what I came to, which is what I just showed on my notebook. Is it possible that the Creator, God, Source, Good, the Good, gave us cows for the people who live inland, and the ocean for people who live next to the ocean, right? Anyway, it's an idea. I know there's salt mines. That's the piece that has been like, where I'm leaving the 10th largest salt mine on earth, Zipaquirá, and I'm extremely, I got some serious news here. So, I've been going there and buying it because this is what they call Patrimonio Nacional, Patrimonio Cultural, Patrimonio Nacional, which means our heritage. This is a heritage site, meaning that this is the public's, how I understood it, this is the public salt mine, because this salt mine has salt, according to a miner that I met a couple of years ago who works there and has been there 40 years, that this mine has salt for 500 years. So, that salt, there's plenty of it. And who's controlling it? what they call a concession, which is a public-private partnership. And I was the first ever public-private partnership specialist for USAID. And that means that it's tyranny, because when the government and the private sector, which are the same brotherhood, are working together, that means the rest of us suffer, and that's called a conspiracy. And that means that they work against us. Now, most of them don't know it, because they're, first of all, fluoridated. And fluoride is a neurotoxin. Look it up if you haven't already. Check out my other videos about fluoride. That's why I'm here picking up this salt. And so I get there. I get to the salt mine, right? So they put fluoride in the salt in Colombia. So I consume salt that doesn't have fluoride, which is the original salt that comes there, and I buy it there. And I have never had a problem, and they like me, and I talk to them about my salt stuff, and it's all cool. Well, I went there today, and they were like, we need to take a picture of your car. What's your name? What's your ID number? All this crazy shit. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, oh, everything the security guard told me everything changed like yesterday. Yesterday. That he was just hired, but still the one guy was still on. So I'm fucking pissed. And I go and I see because this is a national heritage site, or international heritage site. It's the 10th largest salt mine on earth. It's the original electrolyte. So it's the original everything. So I go into the office and I see the lady with this beautiful cat that I love. And I go, hey, and I take out my money and I'm like, I'm going to get 2 bags today. And she goes, nope, we can't sell it to you. Nobody's allowed to buy it. And I go, what? She's like, yeah, the Agency of Mines, how about that? The Ministry of Mines of Colombia. Now it's going up for a new bidding process. And so they have to do some tests on the salt for 2 or 3 months, and nobody can buy it here. And I said, that is some bull fucking shit. I go, first of all, this salt is ours. Anybody who lives in Colombia, this is their salt, this is their land. And I just, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. But God is good, good is God. And I said, I want to speak to a supervisor, and she was just like kind of sat back, and I walked into this back office and I talked with literally a miner with the light on his head, who I know has seen me. We're 2 older guys. And I was like, hey man, I'm like, this is bullshit. And he's like, well, yeah, I know. And I go, you got grandchildren? You have children? I go, doesn't this matter to you that they're poisoning us here in Colombia? They put cyanide in the salt. They put fluoride in the salt, which is a neurotoxin, lowering the intelligence of children, calcifying the pineal gland, creating cancer, dementia, and also Alzheimer's. And it's iodized. And iodine, I believe, means that it is without electricity. That it takes the actual electrical charge. I'm not sure about that, but I did float it a lot at the Weston Price conference in 2024, and about half the people agreed with it. And there was a guy there, I think his name is Brownstein, something like that, that was promoting salt and iodine. So anyway, that's what's in Colombian salt. So I told the miner that, and he's like, look, I got a phone number for you. So I have a contact, and not only that, but he had raw sea salt, and I know from where it's from because I have been to that salt processing. You don't say mine when it's on the ocean, but maybe you do, because it looks like there's private owners of everything, and I think that mine means mine. And after all, it's all about mineral deposits, right? And where did the word mineral come from? Right? So anyway, that's my adventure for today. But here's a very interesting part of the adventure that I'm hoping will have a good ending right now. So I'm on this road, right? You can see it's bumpy and shit, and it doesn't really matter. Anyway, It's too late. And so everybody has to stop while they let all these other trucks come by, and then they work for 30 minutes. And so in that time, I got out of my car and smoked a cigarette and was standing there. And there's no other cars going by because we're all in a line waiting, right? And I took off my shoes because I wanted to walk around barefoot, but then I realized the ground was really rocky, and I walked around the car looking for grass, and it was all like mucky and difficult. And so then I came back, and then it was time to move the car, and I jumped in and I left my shoes. Or I don't even know if it was that, and I just got in and I totally forgot them. But my shoes are in the middle of the of this road, hopefully, unless somebody picked them up. And you know what? If somebody picked them up, God bless them, because they are beautiful cow skin. And I hope that a woman with a big foot, like a size 10 like mine, is getting some use out of them, because I love these shoes. But anyway, everything I just told you about having to go to the mine and talking to them, and then I talked to another 6 guys there and explained to them that, hey man, best thing you can do is get unprocessed salt. I did all of that barefoot. And I then walked into the place where the salt is sold for agriculture people. And I have my bags of salt, and I have my sea salt. And I did all of that barefoot too, so we'll see if my shoes are here, and if they're not, then that's God's will, and it's all been a great adventure. And maybe I was supposed to be barefoot when I talked to them so they could see my humility or my craziness or whatever they want to think it is, because it's all about truth, right? Okay, maybe I'll report back if I find my shoes.